Hi everyone, and welcome to Geek on Culture. I'm joined today by my beautiful wife Kayla. She is sat in the other room, but I got our own computer because we don't like each other. Um, Today we got some good, funky news to go through. A Reddit leak dropped 6 days ago, and I've been holding off doing this video because I wanted to digest a lot of the information on it. Um, and it's to me, this screams like a PR stunt. This doesn't seem like a true leak to me. And we'll go through it. I'll read it. We'll get the opinion of my beautiful wife, and we'll go through there. Say hello to everyone, babes.
Hello.
There we go. Great. She said hello. Okay. It says what happened with the Disney sequel trilogy and the changes to Episode 9. I'm guessing that is. I don't do Roman numerals.
I think so. I generally think
I
so.
don't. I think it is. I don't do Roman numerals. Okay, it says apparently this leaker worked on the entire sequel trilogy for its run, from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. The world has changed, as has my position in the roots of this tree. In the next coming days, weeks, months, there'll be several leaks due to the shake-ups at Lucasfilm. Leaks have become a part of the culture of the company. I wanted to set some matters straight before that occurred. Who am I? Does it matter? Yes, but never mind. There's nothing I could provide to convince you who I was without doxing myself, something I'm not particularly open to doing. Take this as gospel or with a grain of salt. I choose the latter. Regarding Lucasfilm, there has never been a cultural civil war at Lucasfilm. Now, the civil war at Lucasfilm has been something that not just myself, but a lot of other YouTube channels and a lot of other people have commented on. And this Reddit post kind of contradicts itself halfway through because it says right at the start there's never been a civil war, but later on it turns around as literally the next post says, nevertheless, a disagreement on what direction to take on the franchise has always been a recurring problem. Well, that's the fucking definition of a civil war, you idiot. Certain members of the Lucas story group, Pablo Hidalgo, desired to see Star Wars resemble a D&D campaign, more aesthetic, less narrative. Others, Favreau and Filoni, are pushed for a more traditional approach. There isn't some war between Kathy and Favreau. There are rather pleasant terms. Kathy seems to want him to take over once she is retired, slash promoted, slash taken out back and lassied. Favreau, yeah, I thought you'd like that. Favreau may or may not take the position. Well, thank you for that. And Filoni isn't interested, nor is he even remotely qualified to run a film studio. He is much happier working on his own stories. Before we move on, I want to just say that this to me screams of someone inside Lucas' story group trying to save Kathleen Kennedy's arse. And in my opinion, this leak is directly connected to Kathleen Kennedy. The reason I say that is because later on in this leak, it basically turns around and says that J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy did absolutely nothing wrong, even though we know that isn't true. My problem is with this is there is a lot of truth in what he said in this, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing because Jesus Christ, just looking at it, that's just too much.
Yeah, we don't have time for that.
No, I like sleep. I want to go to bed at some point today. To me, this screams of someone trying to save their own bacon. That's what this screams of to me. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I doubt I am. What? You've read this. What do you think?
He. It's hard to say, to be honest, without actually going deeper into information. It does generally sound like someone's trying to stick up for Kathy, to
KK.
just to save her bacon, and
Darth
because
KK.
so it is a
Okay.
toughie. It is a
In my
toughie.
opinion, I think this, and I'm going to use inverted commas, Reddit leak. I think this served two purposes. I think the first one was to try and create a scapegoat. Now, one of the first things it says here, literally third point down, it tries to dump all the blame on Pablo Hidalgo there. Now, Pablo Hidalgo is already in hot water with the fans after he attacked Star Wars Theory. Basically, Star Wars Theory got emotional when he saw Luke Skywalker's return in the end of The Mandalorian. I did as well. Cried like a bitch. Don't give a shit.
I think everyone did, as that everyone's got a heart, and we're excited to see Luke.
Well,
So
it's actually slightly deeper for Star Wars Theory because he's a cancer survivor, and when he went through chemotherapy, this is what I've heard him say. When he went through chemotherapy, Luke Skywalker actually helped him through the chemotherapy. He identified with the character, so the character helped him through.
rock on, Luke.
Yeah, rock on, Luke, another hero. He didn't even know it. It's so for Pablo Hidalgo to come out and say that, you instantly had. And Star Wars Theory is one of the biggest Star Wars. He's the biggest Star Wars channel on YouTube. I'd love his subscriber count, but I'm not that lucky. Yeah,
One day, one
maybe,
day.
maybe we'll see. We'll see. I'll be happy if we get past like 100. I'll feel better about my life. But I think the second thing, the reason they made Pablo Hidalgo the scapegoat is, in my opinion, I think Kathleen Kennedy's on the way out. I think the door is closing on her. I think the sun is setting. And I'll be honest, the thing that started off the most was that article in Forbes that attacked Disney for the firing of Gina Carano. They should not have fired Gina Carano.
No, they shouldn't
She
have.
did nothing wrong. The only thing they could accuse her of doing is giving a wrong example. She shouldn't have gave the example she gave. What she should have said was the current culture is like the courtroom hearings in the 70s and 80s about communist sympathisers. She should have said that. And by firing Gina Carano, they inadvertently proved her point. And she's become more popular since The Mandalorian and the firing from Disney than before. So all they've done is helped her. That's all they've done. But the other thing that this Reddit post does is it attacks a YouTuber called Overlord DVD. Now the reason I say that is because everything that says here literally attacks or is the opposite of what Overlord DVD has been saying for months. Now, Overlord DVD has been proven right time and time and time again. In fact, if we go on his channel quite quickly for a second here. He's done so much Star Wars stuff and some Star Trek stuff and some MCU stuff as well, and other stuff. But a lot of the stuff that he's been coming out with has been proven right time and time again. Now, I think that Reddit leak was a PR move to save Kathleen Kennedy's arse because she suddenly just realised, after alienating people for years with Star Wars, a time of power is coming to an end. Now that time of power is coming to an end, she's burning her bridges as she's walking across them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she needs to try and build bridges quickly, and the best way of building a bridge is throwing someone underneath it. And I'm sorry, but Pablo Hidalgo is going to the chop. And to be truthfully honest, I don't care because I think he's a dick. Pablo Hidalgo did not care about Star Wars. Now, what really annoys me is Pablo Hidalgo was a protege of George Lucas. He studied under George Lucas. He trained with George Lucas. He saw what George Lucas's vision was, and then walked away from it and left it behind. Whereas Dave Filoni, who has given us the Clone Wars, Rebels, some Mandalorian stuff, he has tried to keep George Lucas's vision alive. And this simply comes down to the fact that Kathleen Kennedy and Jar Jar Abrams and Rian Johnson gave us 3 piles of turd that they tried to polish and call Star Wars. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni gave us Star Wars. How it should have been.
I agree with that.
I mean, you yourself, I wouldn't, you wouldn't class yourself as a massive Star Wars fan.
No.
But you sat and watched the Clone Wars with me. You've sat and watched Rebels. You've seen The Mandalorian.
I
Uh,
love The Mandalorian.
and you're excited for the Bad Batch. You're excited for the Book of
Ahsoka.
Fett. You're excited for Ahsoka, the Obi-Wan
Yeah.
show. I am. I mean, you were devastated when you found out the Mandalorian had been delayed till 2023,
I know. I was so excited to see what's going to happen next. I'm proper excited.
and now you've got 2 years to wait.
I know. It's really bad.
It is pretty bad. But let's go back to this leak, as they call it, regarding the sequel trilogy. Each sequel trilogy director prioritized their scripts differently. Johnson was intoxicated with the themes, and Colin Trevorrow had been infatuated with the spectacle, and Abrams favoured the concepts. Well, Trevorrow walked away when they refused to give him Luke Skywalker back. Simple as that. As to be expected, this led to very different approaches to the sequels. Some Lucasfilm fancied, others not as much, Rey being the biggest disagreement. Abrams had initially hoped to work with George Lucas. That didn't work out. When George walked, JJ had almost attempted the same. Bob Iger stopped him. I don't think that actually happened.
Well, it's all rumours, though, isn't it? There's nothing set in stone of what actually happened.
Well, the only thing I know for fact is George Lucas attended the premiere of Force Awakens. He attended the premiere of what was the Last Jedi, but
Yeah.
didn't attend the Rise of Skywalker. um, that kind of says a lot. I mean, if you watch some of the interviews that Mark Hamill himself did before the Last Jedi, before Force Awakens, and even before the Rise of Skywalker, you could see that he was trying to tell the fans, "I'm not in this film. This ain't about me anymore." And I think that's the main point of contention. I understand why the new Star Wars sequel trilogy has its fans. I understand. And if you are listening and you like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, all power to you, mate. Fair play. Great. Good to know. But the way they treated the original the original characters was disgusting. It's simple as that. They turned Luke into a coward who sucks space manatee milk. They made Han Solo a crappy father and just put him back to where he was before A New Hope. So all the changes to his character that happened in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi didn't happen.
Don't forget they made Princess Leia
Oh yeah, you mean
as
Mary
Mary
Poppins? Yeah,
Poppins.
yeah,
Yep.
Space Poppins,
Don't forget that.
Super Poppins.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I remember that. Like, you fell asleep in the Last Jedi, you bitch. And
I
I
did.
remember watching. I remember because I've only ever seen the Last Jedi in the cinema, and I've only ever seen the Rise of Skywalker in the cinema. I probably will end up doing another watch through just to make sure they're as shit as I remember they're being. I might even do a live stream watch through just so people can see my reaction. But I might throw things because I genuinely dislike those films. When I saw Princess Leia Superman her way through space.
It wasn't that for me. It generally wasn't. It was the fact that she went into space and we generally thought she died. And then all of a sudden she started to float back
But
to the ship.
the thing that
And I,
irritates me is when she floated back to the ship and she opened the door and everyone's on the other side of the door and I'm there thinking, that's not how space works.
no, it doesn't.
You open that door, you are dead.
Yeah.
That's not how space works.
But
Um,
we generally thought that she died first.
I mean, that's the thing. Carrie Fisher did unfortunately pass away after the film had been finished and before the film had been. No, sorry, I think before the film had finished,
Yeah.
she passed away. So they they should have killed her off at the start and just done. I mean, when I thought she died, when she got blown out into space, I was like, "Wow, they killed her that way." I did not expect that. And
Yeah.
then she Mary Poppins, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing? This is not Star Wars anymore."
Yeah, no.
Um. Anyway, Lucasfilm saw the sequels as the departure from the old way into the new era. Initially, they had fuddled around with Rey being the granddaughter of Obi-Wan before settling on no one. You see, the problem is with that is who would be the grandmother of Rey because I don't know if Obi-Wan actually got any.
See, they could have done a twist there. You know, oh, what's
Anything's
her
better than what they fucking did.
true. Can't remember her name. You know the
Sabine, no, not
woman.
Sabine. The ruler of Mandalore.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, what's her name?
What's her name?
Satine.
Satine, that's the
I
one.
was thinking of
That
the
that
other
would have been
Mandalorian out of Rebels called Sabine.
perfect.
Yeah, that'd have been
If
great.
they done
But
a daughter
unfortunately, yeah. But the
of
problem is, we saw Satine get kind of like gutted by Darth Maul.
I know,
Oh,
but
spoilers! If anyone hasn't watched it, by the way, sorry. If they haven't watched it, you're watching the wrong channel. Um, Abrams wanted the Grey to be the granddaughter of Anakin, eventually pushing for her to be Luke's daughter he had with a fellow rebel after the war. Now, you see, that kind of links into the legacy stuff, as they call it, or the extended universe, as every normal fan calls it. Because in
yes,
in the extended universe, he did marry. I can't. Is it Mara Jade? I cannot remember the woman's name for the life of me right now. Mara Jade, I think she's called. Luke did marry. I think she was actually an assassin for the Sith, for the Emperor at one point, and then Luke converted her, and then turned her, and then married her, and had babies.
see, hardcore Luke.
I'll call Luke, yeah. The backstory to how Rey was left on Jakku changed several times. Luke left her with Lasan Tekka, who was once being a Force user as well. In one draft, another draft Kylo left. Well, in one draft, another draft Kylo. What? Okay, learn to type, dude. Another draft Kylo left her there as an act of compassion. This is the same guy that like mind raped her in the first one, but never mind. Abrams had also seen Kylo as a tragic villain, and wanted to tell a dark what if story to the redemption of Vader. Ben Solo would have also been redeemed, but only through death. The problem is, you are never going to have another villain like Vader. Vader is, and always shall be, the greatest cinema villain ever made. You cannot top Vader.
I don't know. I kind of like Darth Maul.
Darth Maul's awesome in a different way. Darth Vader, after you watch the Clone Wars, you understand Anakin's backstory, and if you read the books especially as well, you do tend to feel sorry for Anakin. Maul, he's just too awesome to hate.
Exactly. He is awesome.
Um, whoops. Moving on, it says Finn had likewise been a subject of controversy. Abrams wanted John Boyega to play Finn. Alan Horn, as well as Disney producers, saw that as a further risk. Horn pushing for Ansel Elgort type. See, this is my point earlier on. They're naming other people and they're going, they didn't want a black man playing a role. They didn't want a black man playing a role. I have
I
great,
liked Finn.
I have great difficulty believing that. I really wish Finn would have kept his English accent though. I think that would have made the film so much better. An English stormtrooper. That'd have
Yeah.
been proper fun. They should just let him do full Cockney. You're right, Kylo, what's up? That'd have been hilarious. Finn being a Jedi was something Disney producers thought was too much. If John Boyega was cast, Abrams was forced to water down the subplot in the TFA. I don't understand why that would have been such a big deal. I mean, if my memory serves me correctly, Mace Windu was a part of the Jedi Council, and if my memory serves me correctly, Mace Windu was well, he was black.
Yes, he was.
I don't know if I don't know if anyone's told Disney this yet, but
I, I won his
Mace
lightsaber.
Mace Windu was black. Um, Abrams would eventually ask to set up a romance between. Oh my god, no. Horde was the most vocal against a romance between Finn and Rey. Risk factor playing a big part. Why? Why? Why would a romance between two characters be a risk factor?
Because
And
he's male.
no, I think it's more to do with the color of his skin.
Yeah, he's white male.
To be fair, if I'm genuinely surprised that Rose Tico and Ray didn't get it on. This is Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm,
Exactly.
the
So,
wokest of the woke.
yeah.
I am so surprised they didn't try and do that. Abrams would eventually ask to set up a romance between Poe and Finn when Disney requested him to not go forward with Finn and Ray, which had been refused as well. So Lucas asked Abrams to set up a romance between Poe and Ray. Abrams refused. See, the thing is, this just makes Abrams out to be the hero. And I'm sorry, but he's not. J.J. Abrams copied A New Hope. That's all he did. He just scribbled The Force Awakens on A New Hope, and that's all he did. Ryan Johnson just completely bollocksed the story up after that because he just didn't give a crap, and he didn't care about the beginning or the end of the story. He was just telling his story. End of conversation. And when JJ came back for the Rise of Skywalker, his first thought was, let's bring back the wrinkly dude. And if you think about it, right, by bringing the Emperor back, you've completely negated Vader's sacrifice at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing as well. You spent the prequel films, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. You spend 3 films discovering how Anakin Skywalker is the chosen one. He is destined to destroy the Sith and bring balance to the Force. He brought balance to the Force for what, 22 years, 23 years? Wow, he did a good fucking job. That was a shit prophecy. You're going to have peace for a little bit. It's not a long time. Well, not really the chosen one. It was more like the mediocre one at this point. It just pisses me off. Where were we? I don't know what TBTB is. To sum it up, Abrams was not on the same page with TPTB. I have no idea what that stands for. Ryan was far more helpful with Lucasfilm, working with them instead of against them. Basically saying that Ryan Johnson bent over backwards doing whatever Lucasfilm wanted to do. Again, they're shoving Ryan Johnson under the bus. But what makes this more interesting is Ryan Johnson's okay. He's making his own films in the side. No one's actually watched them because they're all crap, but probably woke messes. But he's happy making films. J.J. Abrams has just signed a deal with Warner Brothers, I believe, for something like 500 million.
It's a lot of bread.
And now all of a sudden, this is coming out, making him look like the good guy.
Yeah, it's a bit hmm, kind of really, isn't it?
Ryan was less concerned. Oh, hang on, no. I completely forgot where I was. Frankly, this turned out to be a mistake for Ryan due to Lucasfilm being indecisive. Again, they're not pushing the block. They're not mentioning Kathleen Kennedy is not being mentioned in this, but she's the head of Lucasfilm. I'm sorry, but the responsibility lands at her feet. Simple as that. I mean, if you're working somewhere and one of your employees does something, who is ultimately to blame for that?
Them, obviously.
The boss? The manager? The head? Whatever you want to call them? The gaffer? Stories were always being changed, obviously. Abrams had pushed for a more traditional ending to the trilogy, Luke Skywalker living past the end of the sequels, instructing a new generation and his offspring. See, it's that there. That little bit there. Luke Skywalker living past to the end of the sequels. That screams to me of a PR stunt. It screams to me that they're trying to push the blame away from JJ, away from Kathleen Kennedy, onto other people. And I just don't think this is true. I think this is someone working for Lucasfilm, either with direct knowledge from Kathleen Kennedy or without the direct knowledge of Kathleen Kennedy, either one, most likely with, trying to salvage the reputation of their boss. That's what this sounds like to me.
Does seem like it, doesn't it?
And I don't think that's going to happen. I genuinely think the sun is setting on her, and I genuinely believe in the next 6 months we will have some form of announcement saying that she's out the door.
It seems like that they're trying to save Kathy so she doesn't go down with a big bang.
Oh, she's going to go down with a bang, either way. There's going to be so many fans that rejoice.
Oh yeah.
When she
we'll all
goes.
have a celebration.
It'll be like that scene at the end of Return of the Jedi when the Emperor dies and everyone starts celebrating. I want to have Ewoks around me. I want everything. I want the whole shebang. But speaking of Kathleen Kennedy, let's move on to my next piece, which is this. This came out today from Overlord DVD. It came out a few hours ago. According to multiple sources, Kathleen Kennedy is no longer president at Disney. Oh, sorry, Lucasfilm. If that is true, and she is gone,
let's have a party.
I mean, if you think about it, the Star Wars Twitter account has been silent since April the 1st. They haven't mentioned anything. The Star Wars UK Twitter account has been busy as hell. They've been going on about birthdays. They've been celebrating the Clone Wars, going on about the Bad Batch, which again I'm really excited to watch the Bad Batch.
Mm.
But the American Star Wars Twitter account has said jack shit. They didn't even wish Daisy Ridley a happy birthday. And Daisy Ridley is the one who played Rey, so like, for them to miss her out, you know something's
Mm.
going down. According to this video, Disney have laid out new rules stating that anything that is said on a social media account that does not follow specific guidelines will result in immediate ejection from the company. They've also said anyone who does not want to comply with the new rules are free to find different employment. I genuinely believe that Forbes article about Disney and the firing of Gina Carano, they didn't put anything on Kathleen Kennedy in that article. They blamed Bob Chapek. Now Bob Chapek wasn't even there when they fired Gina Carano. But it's as I said, when someone at Lucasfilm, probably Kathleen Kennedy, fired Gina Carano, and Bob Iger knew about it, Bob Iger jumped ship. He was like, "Screw that, mate, I'm off," and left Bob Chapek to take the fall for it. Either way, and I mean if Kathleen Kennedy is gone, the cleanup that's going to happen after at Lucasfilm is going to be immense.
They are going to have to sit down severely to find out how they're going to fix it and where they can fix it.
That's simple. That is so easy. I could fixing Star Wars is easy. Don't retcon the sequel trilogies. It's too late now. Carrie Fisher's unfortunately passed away. We're never going to be able to see the original three again. That's
Shame.
it.
Shame.
Fans like myself and other people who have been waiting years to see the original trio back together again, we're never going to see it.
No.
Give us a Luke Skywalker show. Give us a show with Darth Talon in it. Give us the extended universe back. Do a show about Luke at his prime, when he was the most powerful.
You want to see him grow up, really, and how he evolved so powerful.
I want to see what he was like after Return of the Jedi. After Return of the Jedi, he was I'll say he was the only Jedi left, but we know he wasn't. He was the only. He's a Jedi Knight after that. I want to see him become Jedi Master Luke. I want to see him grow to become a more powerful Jedi.
Yeah.
I want to see Luke at his prime. And I don't care if they use Sebastian Stan. I genuinely don't. I'd rather them do that because the CGI they did in The Mandalorian was pretty pants. Like when they tried to de-age Luke, it looked.
Yeah,
I think the emotions of the moment made it better than it was.
Yeah.
But I cannot see how. I don't understand how she's managed to keep that job unless she's got some massive dirt on some people that work at Disney, which is a possibility. I don't understand.
She does seem like that sort of woman, doesn't she?
No, you've misspelt witch.
True.
I reckon when she finally gets sacked, after she kickstarts her broom, I think
it's going to be interesting.
It depends how they do it. If it's a public execution, then she's going to go down and she's going to take people with her. But if it's more of we're opening,
back office.
I see. I don't know how Disney are going to do it. I don't think they're going to extend her contract. I don't know if they're just going to let her fade away, or I don't know if they're going to give her another studio to fuck with, or just say fuck up. I mean, if they want to do that, that's fine. Give her another studio. Let her write the High Republic as much as she fucking wants, because no one's interested in that sack of shit with the sexy rock. No one gives a fuck. No one cares about Geode. No one cares about the High Republic. It was an insult to Star Wars to even consider writing that mediocre garbage. Fucking gender politics in Star Wars, are you fucking serious? The thing that pisses me off is people watch Star Wars to escape the real world. They do not watch Star Wars to hear about gender politics or any type of politics. The problem is when you put that kind of stuff into a show, you date the show. In
Yeah.
50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years, when people watch the sequel trilogy, they'll be able to turn around and go, you can tell this came out in the 2020, blah, 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 in 2015 or whatever, because that's when gender politics became a thing. If you look back 10, 15, 20 years ago, the stories were different.
Yeah, back then we just didn't care.
Whereas back then we had stories, not politics.
Yeah, and we didn't care.
I mean, what the problem I've got is what's the next big craze? And I do think that the acceleration of the Twitter mob, I think lockdown, the isolation we've experienced over the last 18 months thanks to coronavirus, I genuinely believe that has helped increase the arms of the Twitter mob.
They've got nothing else to do.
Exactly, that's it. They've literally got jack shit all else to do. So they're sitting at home and they're getting offended and insulted by everything. I tell you what else really irritates me, and I see this all the time. It's when how can I put this without offending anyone? Okay, I'm gonna have to be as delicate as I can, which to anyone who knows me is quite impossible.
Yeah, that's true.
I hate it when someone gets offended for someone else. You see it all the time where they turn around and say, I'm offended by this character because this character's not showing gay people as they should be or trans people as they should be. And I'm just like, yeah, but you're a straight white woman. You have no opinion on how that person's represented because they're not representing you, so shut your trap and get back in your corner. It pisses me off. I have no right to turn around and say how trans people should be represented. I have no right to turn around and say how black people should be represented. I think that's fair. I think that's logical. What irritates me is this whole culture of offence that we've got going, which I'm hoping ends soon. Because I'm not. Here's to anyone who's listening right now. Here's a massive newsflash: being offended doesn't hurt you. I'm offended by boy bands, but it doesn't mean I'll ring the police every time I see Take That.
Hey, I like my boy band. Thanks very much.
Yeah, but you're allowed.
Boy Zones, here we go.
Iron Maiden, thank you very much.
There you go. His boy band.
Massive. You shut your damn mouth, woman. Swear to God, I'm going to turn your computer off from in here if you keep saying shit like that.
That would be freaky if you could.
I can. I'm not going to, but I can. Don't test me. Fucking Iron Maiden's a boy band. Jesus Christ. But that's the point.
Joking, by the way.
You freaking better be. That's the point. Joking. You know, I don't like things like that, but it doesn't mean I'm going to ring the police every single time I see Take That on TV. I'm offended by chavs. Unfortunately, the world's full of them.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. Excuse me. Anyway, sorry, back to the point, a little bit of a diversion there. I think the news that KK is on her way out is not something that should surprise people. I think Kathleen Kennedy's been on her way out for months. The question becomes... Sorry, go on, you first.
Yeah, they've just got to tread very, very carefully of how they do it.
I think that's why... I think people like Doomcock and Overlord DVD, I think they're going to know before we know.
Yeah.
Simply due to the fact that they've got friends in those kind of areas.
Yeah.
I think you'll hear about it on YouTube before it happens, before the news gets it. And I've got a feeling it's going to be one of those at the door kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's going to be one of those quiet kind of things. It's not going to be...
celebration, fireworks, a lot.
Well, it is for me. A lot of the fans will celebrate, I know that.
Well, yeah, but as for a company, they can't physically do that because it's discrimination of a person, if that makes sense.
I mean, look at that. I mean, let's face it, if they turn around right now and right, Kathleen Kennedy, you're sacked, get out, do not let the door hit you on the arse on the way out, we don't want arse prints on our door, she will scream at the top of the fucking
Yes,
building
she will.
that she got fired because she's got tits. No, you got
Yeah.
fired because you've got no goddamn brains. It's
And you
nothing to
ruined
do with
Star
you.
Wars.
It's nothing to do with your mammary glands, love. It's got nothing to do with your breast. It's got everything to do with what should be inside your head. Trying to put gender politics into Star Wars
Doesn't work.
was a mistake.
Really doesn't work.
I mean, Pablo Hidalgo and I believe Kathleen Kennedy has said this on several occasions as well. They don't see Star Wars as a property; they see it as a platform. No, I'm sorry. No, it was Alex Kurtzman who said that about Star Trek. He said he doesn't care about Star Trek. He just cares about the platform. Well, you're a dick.
That's wrong. It's wrong.
And
It's all about money nowadays.
I'm sorry for anyone who's listening who's a Star Trek fan. I'm a Star Trek fan. I've been watching Star Trek since I was a kid. I've seen every single Star Trek show you could that's out, including the animated series. And I'm sorry, but Discovery and Picard are crap. Lower Decks was
See,
okay.
I like Picard,
Yeah,
but
you're not a Star Trek fan to the same level that I'm a Star Trek fan.
I
My
I
advice to
haven't
you
seen
would
the
be
originals.
is rewatch The Next Generation, then watch
Yeah.
Picard straight afterwards, but move all breakable objects because you will throw something because I know you.
Thanks.
Trust me, when I watched Picard
Yeah.
and I was just like, what the fuck have you done?
The only thing I didn't agree with is what he said about Data.
No, he didn't say about that. When he turned around, no, what really pissed me off with that show is when the Romulan who lives with him, the two Romulans that live with him, turned around. One of them turned around and said, "What about Riker and all them lot?" And he turned around and went, "I can't ask them to do it. This is my responsibility." And I'm there thinking, well, hang on, Data was Riker's friend as well. I guarantee if Picard would have commed Riker and Geordie and said, "Look, there is a chance Data has a daughter," they'd be like, "Yo, what's up? Let's nick the Enterprise. Let's do this shit."
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Get the old crew back together.
Yeah, they would, and that's a great series.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Like the Picard, LaForge, Crusher. I mean, hell, get fucking Will Wheaton back. Shut up, Wesley. But get him back. Worf, Deanna Troy, all them lot stealing the Enterprise E or some form of ship to go save Data's daughter. That is a better Star Trek series than what we actually bloody got. I mean, they killed Hugh off for absolutely no reason whatsoever, just for shock value. What they did to Icheb out of Voyager was just horrifying, and that shouldn't have been in a Star Trek show. It seems to me over the last, I'd say 6 7 years, there has been a systematic destruction of fandom. Star Trek's gone under it. Star Wars has gone under it. I hope to God they don't touch Battlestar Galactica or Babylon 5. Because if they do,
Whoa.
there will be fucking riots. I mean,
I'm moving country if that happens.
I'll be the one that riots. It'll just literally be me on my home. It's not the point. I'm going to do it.
Yep. I will be moving country when that happens because I do not want to be in the same room as my husband when he does that.
It's just. I do have one question though.
What?
Well, if Kathleen Kennedy doesn't go and Lucasfilm carries on the way it's going, how long until they make Ahsoka transgendered?
Oh no, don't do that. No.
Well, that's it. Well, I am being funny, but Gina Carano, Cara Dune, she was a strong female character. They sacked her.
Yeah,
And they're
true.
gonna. I don't know how they're gonna write that into the season 3 of The Mandalorian. I mean, the question is, who's gonna take over from her when she goes? Do you think Jon Favreau will take over? I mean,
I hope so.
if you think about it, Jon Favreau, he's literally one of the main reasons we have the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He started with Iron Man. He put the building blocks down for the Marvel films.
Yeah.
I know for a fact he's got offers from other companies. So what he could easily walk away from Disney Star Wars right now, go to a better paid job with less hassle,
Mhm.
and just do what he loves. So the question is, why is he staying? And I think the reason he's staying is because he knows how Star Wars should be done.
Yeah.
And
He doesn't want to leave Star Wars the way it is.
I think he wants to. I think he wants to make Star Wars the way it should be instead of the way it is right now.
Yeah.
if you think about it, the only good Star Wars we've had in the last 10, 15 years has been Rogue One, The Mandalorian, and Season 8 of the Clone Wars. Rogue One was a brilliant film. That last bit where Darth Vader was just going through um, the rebel cruiser at the end when he was just hacking people down, that gave me chills. That did. And then you have season 8 of the Clone Wars, which I'm not I'm not ashamed to admit, I had tears in my eyes in the last two episodes when they did Order 66. I think that was a brilliant end to the Clone Wars. And then you had The Mandalorian, which, I'm sorry, Baby Yoda's the cutest thing on the goddamn planet.
He is.
Next
Even
to,
our kids like him.
I know, it's great. I've started them off already. And then you had Luke Sky. He gave us Luke Skywalker back. He gave us Luke back.
He gave us hope.
And I will say this as it is. I'll say it, and I know if a lot of fans will disagree with me. I will be happy if we never see Luke Skywalker again. The reason being, the last time we saw him, he was young, he was powerful, and he was a Jedi, not a coward.
That is true.
If the last we see of him is him just terrorizing the hell out of Death Troopers on that Imperial cruiser, I'll be a happy fan. Move past Skywalker now. That's fine. Do whatever you got to do. I don't think they will. I have a feeling Favreau's going to want to not. I think Favreau is going to try and alter the course of history. Now, if what I've heard is correct, that Ahsoka is going to use the Veil of the Force to change history, which is possible. Because let's face it, in her show, she's going after Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now we know Grand Admiral Thrawn and is with Ezra Bridger. Ezra Bridger can get into the Veil of the Force. The Veil of the Force, you can change history in the Veil of the Force. So
Yes.
what's to stop Ahsoka changing history?
Technically, nothing.
What's to stop Ahsoka changing history so the Emperor doesn't survive? What
Could be
if
interesting.
we could have the Star Wars sequel trilogy removed from canon?
That
How
would be good.
funny would that be? Because if you think about it, if they did that, then they would have to re-release the Star Wars sequel trilogy as Legacy.
Hmm.
And in Kathleen Kennedy's mind, anything that's got the term legacy on it isn't Star Wars. Oh,
No.
God, that would be funny. That would be the ultimate piss take. Disney, if you're listening, doubt you are, but don't care, I'm going to say it anyway, make it happen. I have spoken.
This is the way.
This is the way. I still want to buy myself a Mandalorian helmet. What I want to do is I want to buy myself a Mandalorian helmet and go ride my bike on it. I want to ride down the road in a full Mandalorian armor.
That would be funny.
Just going to stop at traffic lights, look at people, and go, "This is the way," and just ride off. Proper freak people out. But that's something I would do, and you know that.
I know. That's the funniest thing.
Hell yeah, I'd do that. That'd be hilarious. If anyone's listening and wants to join in, give me a message. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
I'll be quite happy with that. Oh,
Vote, people, vote. And I'll even do a video.
That's the thing, right? The fans have spoken. The fans have spoken in the only way that Disney can listen to. They've spoken with their wallets. From what I've been told by people, the subscriptions to the Disney Plus service have plummeted like a stone since the firing of Gina Carano. After Luke Skywalker came, they skyrocketed. And that was always going to happen. And then they fired Gina Carano and they dropped. The problem is your average viewer doesn't know yet. The people who don't spend their time on the internet, the people who, have lives, the people who found out that Luke was in The Mandalorian, watched it, they don't know that Gina Carano's been fired, because let's face it, it wasn't on BBC News, it wasn't on ITV, it wasn't a massive news story over here, was it? I mean,
Even I didn't know
yeah, but I
until
say
you
the only
told
I
me.
was going to say I broke your heart with that,
I
but the only
know
reason
you've
you
done.
know is because I told you.
Yeah.
So when the Mandalorian does come out and Cara Dune's not in it,
Yeah, I
they're just
know,
going to
but
be
it's
like, "Hang on a
annoying.
minute, where's Gina Carano?" So they're going to go looking for where Gina Carano is, and they're
Yeah.
going to find out she's been sacked, and it's going to bring it all back again. So
Yep.
either way, Disney are in for a shitstorm.
Yep. And bit like Corona.
Grown up. I do apologise about the audio right now. For some reason, my mic is not playing ball. I'm going to lower my gain down a little bit. I hope that's better. I mean, that's the other thing as well. Like, they're not making any money from the Disney parks. So
No.
the only thing that was making them money was Disney Plus, and that has lost money. How Kathleen Kennedy has stayed in the job so long, I've got no idea. I genuinely believe that she has some knowledge that, from what I've been told, she has knowledge of a certain connections between a certain person who did or did not kill himself in an American prison. I'll explain that to you after the stream.
Okay.
But that's what I've been told. Whether that's true, again, I don't know. So I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that's what I've been told. And that's what I do here. I tell you everything that I know, and I'll let the pieces fall where they may.
Yeah. Problem is, it's all in the back office. No one truly knows of what's going on behind the back office.
Well, there are a few, very, very few people
Well, yeah,
who
but
know. But
let's let's face it, if it got out, they'd know exactly who it is, and yeah, it
oh
would just
yeah,
go down.
I mean that's the other thing about this Reddit leak as well. If you actually, it's amazing how the Snyder Cut fans got their 4 hour version of Justice League. Now all of a sudden, there's a 4 hour Star Wars cut, and this this screams to me like they're trying to get the fans to go, yeah, we want the 4 hour JJ cut, so Kathleen can go to Bob Chapek and go, look, the fans do want it. I'm sorry, Kathleen Kennedy, stick it up your rear pipe, love, because no, we don't. We do not want a 4 hour cut of a shit film. We don't want it. We want the Mandalorian. We want the real Star Wars. That's another thing as well. I was actually I had a very good conversation with my dad earlier on, and he turned around and said he doesn't want to watch the Mandalorian because he's a purist. He doesn't want to watch it because he thinks it's not Star Wars, and I'm like, bitch, watch it.
But 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 it's really
Yeah,
good.
but nobody's old.
That's true. That is true.
The problem is, he saw the Rise of Skywalker, he saw the Last Jedi, and he saw what Star Wars had become. He's under the opinion, and I know a lot of fans that are like this, that all Star Wars, all new Star Wars, is like that. And to those kind of people, I'll turn around and say, just give it a watch once. Just try the Mandalorian once.
For someone that isn't a full Star Wars fan like everybody else, Mandalorian is hooking. It is proper. You can't help but sit down and watch it.
Well,
We actually put it on for the kids as well, and they
yeah.
loved it.
I mean that's the thing. The good thing about what's it called? The good thing about the Mandalorian is it's design. It's got so much fan service in it. I mean, I could do a whole video about Easter eggs in every single episode of The Mandalorian, and I probably will end up doing it. I'll probably go watch them again and just list out all the Easter eggs that are in it. But it's not. It's got that kind of fan service for fans like me who have seen everything that Star Wars has done, who's read the novels, who's done this, who's done that, and it's good for people like yourself who have a passing familiarity with Star Wars. And as you well know, it's good for the kids as well because Baby
Yeah,
Yoda,
yeah.
Baby Yoda,
He is cute. He
he is
is
cute.
adorable.
I want a Baby Yoda.
Don't we all?
Do you remember that last? Do you remember the two stormtroopers that punched Baby Yoda? I would love to get my hands on those two stormtroopers. I have a
Oh,
question.
them. Yeah, them too.
You know when he gets retaken prisoner by what's his name, Moff Gideon, and
Yeah,
he's like chucking the stormtroopers around the cell. He's just like proper force fucking him across the wall and shit. And he just
yeah,
like he stuns Grogu and he's like shackle him.
yeah.
I have a question. The Empire have baby shackles?
I know it's concerning. It
Did
is actually quite concerning, the fact
if I
that,
was that stormtrooper, I'd be like, are we the bad guys?
yeah, it's
What
just,
what what? Why have we got baby shackles? Why are they shackling babies?
yeah.
Oh god. Well, I think we've come to the end of this now. I don't want to read any more of it because, to be honest, it's just PR bullshit.
It's just,
You know,
it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't,
I mean, they're
you
trying.
know.
I mean, you can clearly tell they're trying to attack Bob Chapek here by saying he has his
Yeah,
hands full and is rather cheap. He's a fucking CEO. He doesn't. He knows what the fans want now. The fans have spoken. If he doesn't know it now, nothing's gonna fucking tell him.
no.
Oh well, have you got anything else to bring to it?
Um, I love Gina.
Gina rules.
Gina rules.
I don't.
Woo!
Oh, actually, yeah. Happy birthday, Gina Carano.
Yep. Happy birthday, Gina. Hope you have a good one.
One of the most down to earth and, dare I say it, probably gonna get beaten for this, most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
No,
Next to you, baby. Next to you.
thank you.
She knows I'm lying.
I know.
I'm going to get hurt later. Okay, right, ladies and gents, thanks for tuning in. And anyone who watches this later, I do hope you've enjoyed this little one. We're hoping to create a schedule where we can do more live streams, but back to work and three kids kind of, yeah.
Busy lives, busy lives.
You could just put lives and they'd probably understood. But
Yeah.
when we get things sorted out over the next couple of months, we will let you know. I'm hoping that things can get sorted out by the end of next month and we can start getting more smoother with things. But for now, this has been Luke from Geek on Culture with my beautiful wife Kayla. Then I'm going to say bye bye.